It's the chosen one, back at it. I got a lot of comments in the media section of my videos wanting me to go over the history, the exact history of the Bible, and we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna cover the 3 false stories in the Bible, when it was created, why it was created, and the purpose that the Europeans had for the Kemetic slaves. Okay, now we're gonna get into something called etymology. Okay. Let's look at that word Bible, B-I-B-L-E. The prefix B-I, bi, means 2, because the Bible consisted of 2 different books, okay, put into one. But your pastor, your misinformed pastor, or the government, or your teachers are going to tell you, oh, New Testament, Old Testament, farce, 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 okay? The Bible comes from 2 Egyptian Kemetic books called the Book of Life and the Book of the Dead. Okay, and 100 BCE. Okay, when the Greeks were let into Alexandria and Egypt by Cleopatra's mother. Okay, they had to make it the information explainable to the Greeks. Okay, because they didn't have any form of knowledge or any form of spirituality at the time. So when they put together the Book of the Life and the Book of the Dead, okay, it was called the Serpent Book because it was the book of with all the wisdom. It was called the Serpent Book. Okay, so for the unmelanated Greek Europeans, for them to repent, they had to go see the serpent, the serpent book. Okay, so after Kemet got taken over after Serapis' rule, okay, in 1408, there was a man named Thomas Arundel who was appointed by the Pope of the Vatican, and he was to take the serpent book and to concoct 3 false stories and do away with the Book of Enoch and the rest of the real knowledge that the Kemites had at that time. Okay, so this happened in 1408, but the Moors didn't get overthrown out of Europe until 1491, 1492. So these Europeans and the Vatican were concocting a plan to overthrow the Moors for 100 years, people. Everything these people do is always 40, 50, 100 years in advance. It's a chess game, people. It's not checkers, okay? So everything they do, you better believe it's all thought out beforehand. So basically every 26,000 years, okay, the Elohims and the Anunnaki would get together and write in the Book of Life and the Book of the Dead which souls were appointed to rise to the higher realms and which souls failed in their lifetimes and would have to keep reincarnating stuck in 3D. It was called the Book of Life and the Book of the Dead, okay? The 3 false stories that Thomas Arundel erected in 1408 was half of the book of Genesis, the story of Jesus and his disciples, and the book of Exodus. Okay, the story of Genesis took us away from the motherly principle and spirituality and told us that Eve came from a man's womb and that the woman was less than the man. But like I told you in my earlier videos, okay, it's the opposite. The man comes from the woman. The word woman means the beings that wombed man, okay? We have a deformed chromosome to make us a male, okay? We're masculine women. I don't care what you got to say. Forensics and science is God, people. And if you argue with God, like I said, I can't even mingle with you, okay? So the story of Genesis also vilified the serpent when I already told you who the serpent was. The serpent was the immortal one, the one with the wisdom, representing the tall melanated gods that came from the Sirius star system that gave us the DNA and the knowledge, okay, to obtain that kind of wisdom to keep our soul progressing throughout the higher dimensions. So Exodus was the next false story. Basically, that's really simple. They wanted to vilify the Kemites, so the slave descendants of the Kemites would never want to be able to go back into their history and to find out who they really were. because every single church and every single pastor and all of these so-called gurus and leaders always try to refer to Kemet and Egypt as evil satanic sorcery, and to stay away from it. You got to stay away from it, okay? And we all know that is a farce, man. There's scientists, biologists, archaeologists who've already proved that there is 0.0 evidence of any Jewish slaves in Egypt, okay? There was no homosexuality, same-sex shit going on in Kemet, okay, until goddamn the Ptolemies came over there, okay? You guys need to wake up and do your research, because you have been misled and lied to, okay? So like I said, the Bible, B-I, meaning 2 books, represents the book of the life, the book of the dead, and the book of life. And Revelations, it says that when the Elohims come back, they're going to have the book of life and the book of the dead. And if your name isn't in the book of life, you're going to be reincarnated over and over and over again, people. So Revelations is mostly true. So like I said, your false stories in the Bible are the half of Genesis, the story of Jesus and his disciples, and Exodus. And all of that was to detach us from Mother Nature, detach us from the serpent wisdom, okay? And to detach us from our Kemetic ancestors and our Kemetic history, man. Okay? So that about sums it up, man. If you guys got any more questions, just hit up the comment section. Like, subscribe, man. It's The Chosen One, man. I'm out.